The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. From the heart of Broadway and historic downtown Cape Girardeau, this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Unscripted.
Rude.
That time was for real. All right.
God, I hope so. That was good.
I knew he was going to do the bit. I knew it.
It's PW here on the Podzilla 1985 Network.
Stop it.
High energy show tonight. No, I'm no longer joking. I'm just low energy.
Oh, okay.
We are going to talk about some things, and just because we don't have the energy or the drive doesn't mean that we won't fill the time. So, my name is Shannon Young, Mr. 100 here with you tonight. Down at the end of the table is the Ace of Gray, the 5-star man.
Hi. Doing all right there, buddy?
I was trying to think of a good compliment for you because, so I thought about this the other day. I really thought about this.
No, it's
the
fine.
other
There's
day.
not two other people.
No, because this involves both of you as well.
Okay.
So I was thinking about CCW. We were talking about it earlier, and I was thinking about CCW and the importance of everyone. And I know I get big-headed sometimes and think, oh, God, I'm so important to CCW. But then I thought about it, and the reality is Ace of Gray is the voice of CCW. You know, he is. Allie and Mandy are the eyes of CCW. And then Dalton is the heart of CCW because you have such a drive to become better and to do this thing. Like, you have so much heart. And you guys are so important and so important to not just that show but to me and this show. And I don't think I tell you guys that enough. Also with me tonight, Allie Abear.
Hello.
And the Big D Dalton Anthony.
Well, now I feel kind of bad for saying there's two more people at
I
the
was
table.
kind of waiting for him to be like, and I want to thank you for that, and then give us both like the worst nicknames.
Why do you think I do? Like, this happened.
Because you
This
like
happened on
to
Tuesday
do
too.
that.
When I complimented you on how lovely you were, and Asa called it out, I was like, she's waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was waiting for that too. I was like, because I
you-
watched the
Because we have 3 years of shows of history of.
As I get older, I get more sentimental though, so it gets a lot sweeter.
It's been 2 weeks
Since what?
prior the shoe dropped. That's what I'm putting my money on.
I don't know. People change, Dalton.
I will say I'm
I'm
actually
gearing up for my second act.
I'm legitimately excited for the news this week, except for like two things.
There's one thing I'm really not excited about.
Yeah, I know.
and-
Do you want to start with that?
No, let's start with AEW. I think it's important because this is such a big news story. The other ones are more personal, but this one's like, when it comes to professional wrestling, this is probably the biggest news story of the week, obviously. TNT today officially announced their partnership with All Elite Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It will air on TNT starting in...
They didn't have a date.
Oh,
Just
they didn't? All right.
later this year, I think is what it said.
But that's big because everyone talks about the Monday Night Wars. Of course, the Monday Night Wars really took effect when Eric Bischoff got a 3-hour block for Nitro on WCW on
Live
TNT.
block.
Live block, as WWE was pre-taped at the time.
Well, every other week was pre-taped.
Yeah. So this is big, and it's cool that TNT is getting back into professional wrestling. I know Ted Turner is still alive, and I don't know how old he is now, but I wonder did he have anything to do with this? Because Ted Turner is notorious for loving professional wrestling and feeling a debt owed to professional wrestling.
I think Ted Turner is very much like a figurehead at this point.
That's what I was wondering.
If he has a seat on the board of directors, it's an empty chair.
Oh, he's only 80 years old.
Which, isn't too crazy. I just found out George Lucas today turned 75.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You know what I learned the other day? And just
R-Truth is 72.
this is wildly off topic. Did you know that George Lucas did not direct all 3 of the original trilogy movies?
Yep,
Yeah.
only the first one.
He only directed, A New Hope.
Yep.
That was just a piece of trivia that.
But he still was like a producer on the other two, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, and he was like he didn't write Empire, which is why that's the best one. Welcome
Fair.
to Aces Mad at George Lucas.
I disagree. I don't think Empire's the best one. I truly believe Rogue One is the best one.
Oh well,
Is this
yeah.
your
Rogue One-
TED Talk?
I was talking about welcome to my TED Talk. George Lucas is a hack. make a Flash Gordon movie that your wife had to save in editing.
Jeez. George Lucas also made...
Indiana Jones.
Did
Did
that
he?
was Spielberg.
No, that was Spielberg. Yeah, that was Spielberg. George Lucas has done nothing.
He did
I will
one other super important film, and I can't remember.
It's gonna
what
be
it is
real
now.
awkward on Saturday when I see Heath Hatton because someone's gonna snitch.
Oh, I thought you said when you see George Lucas. I thought maybe you were pulling a Josh from Press Start to Join,
Wait.
and you're hanging out with directors now.
Who's gonna snitch to Heath?
You are. You are, because you are a biggity baby. Because I know what day of the week it is.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
Nothing
I've already
matters.
dropped one S-bomb.
AEW. TNT. TNT's
Well, no,
cool.
now I'm not going to be American Graffiti.
Okay.
I wasn't going to be happy until I figured out what the other movie was from George Lucas.
I like American
What else he
Graffiti
did
a lot.
ever direct? He directed. He's got 18 credits under his belt. I have to know this. None of them are important. Herbie. No, these are shorts. What the?
This is gonna sound mean, so I'm on the like.
He did direct episodes 1, 2, and 3. I didn't know that.
Yes, no, that's why
This is a
everyone-
real great wrestling topic.
Well, because no,
Well, I'm going back
because
to
I
Ted
thought
Turner.
Revenge of the Sith was one of my favorites. Like, it's probably my second favorite Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
Don't at me. Anyway, Ted Turner.
I'm looking on his like. I just Googled him to see how old he was, and it said spouse Jane Fonda, Jane Shirley Smith, and then it just said more. And I'm like, that's bad because you have to click the link to see more. I was like, that's bad whenever you get like a Google link to figure out how many more wives you've had.
Ted Turner, though,
Just one more.
legitimately loved professional wrestling and thought that, he credited wrestling for helping his empire grow.
Yeah.
So he's always had a dedication to wrestling. I don't think he wanted WCW to leave. If I remember correctly, it was
Nope,
the
that
board.
would be AOL Time Warner.
yeah,
Decided
the
to leave.
board said, no, we got to get off the sinking ship.
because it was that merger happened and kind of forced him out of a lot of those decisions.
Yeah.
Because WCW was hemorrhaging money
Yeah.
towards like, and again, after you listen to our podcast, make sure you listen to all of our great podcasts every week. After that, go to the Conrad Thompson 83 Weeks, and you figure out a whole lot about WCW. Mm-hmm. And then Something to Wrestle is also fun. Way back, or the What Happened When podcast. Oh my God, Tony Schiavone.
Now you're
is
just plugging
weird.
podcasts.
Right, yeah, this
Yeah.
is
At
Dalton's
this point.
podcast recommendation hour. We need to get back to the real topic and why George Lucas is a hack.
Jesus Christ,
That's
at least
the
I was
point.
talking about wrestling.
No,
All right,
so,
no, but seriously, goddamn. Seriously, when you come up with an idea like Star Wars,
Jesus
I thought you were going to go back to TNT and AEW.
you don't. When you come up with a thing like Star Wars, you can be a hack because you've already got your legacy in cement.
It is 9/18, guys.
Star Wars is on TNT a lot.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Still?
Yes, it is.
I don't think it is.
Oh,
I love the nervous
God.
eyes you have. Just like,
But to say Disney don't own TNT.
no,
But they do own Hulu.
we're
Jesse, we
doing
can
like
take
every other topic
Jesse,
but
you can take Sunday
Wednesday.
off. Money in the Bank, wrestling,
So, yeah,
TNT,
so-
AEW.
So for everyone that said AEW is just the world's greatest T-shirt company, it now has a TV deal. And Eric Bischoff would
This
tell
was
you
from Pro Wrestling Crate, Allie. Shut up. I didn't buy this.
Can you prove that?
Yes.
he had a picture,
Yes.
no Photoshop.
He does an unboxing, but he doesn't publish them. It's only for him
Yeah.
to watch later.
Don't ask what I'm doing during it. It's weird.
He had a picture of it, but at the bottom it said like picture removal pro. I don't know what that was.
I'm lost.
It's a Spider-Man joke. I forget. What
So are we
going to
restart the show?
No, we're
No.
good.
We should just
It's only been 7 minutes. I know it feels like an hour.
Oh, if we already got that 5-minute listen.
that dip, that like the spike we had from Comic Con.
Gone.
Like,
Wasted. All the Veronica
burning that
Taylor
good.
fans that tuned into PW.
Who the hell is this
I
Dalton
like how
guy?
it's Veronica Taylor, not Road Warrior Animal.
The Veronica.
I've never been a wrestling fan before, but they were really good with the Pokemon lady.
Yeah. And Pokemon has one of the best wrestlers, Machamp.
Oh, we should just go ahead and start. Welcome to Dragon Pod Z.
And
Dragon.
Incineroar. Anyway, goddamn.
Dragon Podsy.
So TNT, that's a good channel to put wrestling on. That has
It's a big deal. Like this is legit. Like in all seriousness, this is a very
this
big
is huge.
deal.
What better network could they have gotten unless it was a dedicated sports channel,
Mm-hmm.
which TNT is not, but their basketball coverage and some of their sports is really good and
Mm-hmm.
well known. So I think TNT is such a good channel for AEW. That is a legitimate channel to put against Raw, even though they're not going against Raw.
Right.
Like that is just a
Which they
legitimate
shouldn't-
channel.
Which they shouldn't.
Yeah,
Like,
you shouldn't go head to head. I mean, they're going against, like, if you are doing a nationally televised wrestling show on prime time, you are going against WWE, but you're not going head to head.
Right.
Which is that's the one thing they don't need to do. Now, unless they just end up like murdering it.
Yeah, if they
and,
kill it. Yeah.
Like at that point, do what you want. Hopefully, you, like, stay in the pocket and punch until you can't punch no more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be super smart because I think the rumor was they were going to go on Tuesdays, which once SmackDown goes to Fridays because of Fox, that is a super intelligent deal because you have no wrestling on Tuesday anymore. Because right now it is Raw and then SmackDown on Tuesday and then 205 Live UK and NXT on Wednesdays. And then you don't have anything unless you have wrestling, unless you watch Ring of Honor on the weekends or New Japan randomly on a Thursday or Friday.
I'm honestly curious about what they will do with their sports coverage now that AEW is going to air. because I don't know how it works anymore. But I remember, back when I used to watch basketball, because I used to watch basketball a lot. It was so big on TNT, and they would always do live stuff. But that may have just been playoffs at this point.
I think it might have gone more to TBS.
I was going to say, is that TNT or TBS? Because Turner owns the two networks.
He owns both of those.
Because I think it's TBS, because TNT's We Know Drama.
Yes. And that's what it always was.
I mean, it was more dramatic than basketball.
Fair.
Yeah,
that's high tension.
TNT is where I catch
TNT definitely
old
does.
episodes of Law and Order.
Yes.
As opposed to USA, where I catch SVU.
Old episodes of SVU.
Yeah.
Or new. You can't really tell a difference.
Yeah, I can because Christopher Maloney's not in it.
Oh, fair.
And when he was gone, I was gone. Anyway, this is not that show.
But no, it's a super big deal. I'm excited for him. The one thing I need to see is AEW's already gotten a really good roster.
They do, yeah. Solid people.
But they need to get.
I know a couple people they should sign, but please don't because I'd miss them.
But they need to get a bigger roster for me to I'm already excited, but I need to get that roster more full.
NBA is on TNT.
Yeah, and I only know that because I was still watching basketball in high school, and that was only 8 years ago.
Yeah, anytime I watch basketball, it was either ESPN or TNT.
Yeah.
So they may get preempted, but it looks like looking at the conferences that are aired on TNT, I'm only seeing one Tuesday game, and that's the rumors that they're going to air on Tuesday night.
Right.
Yeah, which that's the night they need
because
to air
there's
on.
no way in hell that they're going to bump NBA for AEW.
No.
They wouldn't even bump Raw, or they wouldn't even bump the Westminster Dog Show for Raw.
Yeah, I remember.
So,
I remember when that.
Oh, that was every time I tune in, it was the Dog Show. I would go, "Are you kidding me?"
What
And
the
now, was there
hell?
more people watching this than Monday Night Raw? And the answer was probably.
Yeah. One of the things too is because someone, after this deal was announced, someone talked to one of the executives at WWE of okay, well, now that they have this TV deal and they're on a network that shares essentially the same install base as USA, I think it's only off by 1 million. They, do you consider them competition? And they had this really kind of PR laden statement of pretty much we aren't competing for specific time slots. We are competing for people's time. So NBA, Fortnite, anything that draws people's attention is competition.
Right.
Welcome to the show.
Which
essentially is what they said.
And that's a smart thing to say.
Yeah.
Where it's just yeah, no, we understand their competition, but they're not the only thing that's competing against us.
Yeah.
So,
this is cool. I'm excited to get more details, time slot, actual night of the week, things like that.
Is it officially time to panic for WWE?
No.
You don't think so? Mm-mm. Will there ever be a time to panic with AEW?
Maybe, but right now is not. You have a company that's running one pay-per-view right now. 2. They're doing all in 2.
Yeah.
2 pay-per-views. And you have how many millions of network subscribers?
Millions.
So you have all that money coming in.
The problem that you if you start, the thing that I think would make WWE start to sweat is if you actually saw a marked dip in network subscribers, or if AEW became this huge runaway success.
Right.
Which, I'm
God willing.
that first episode I think is going to draw big ratings because of course it's the first episode.
Yeah.
And part of the
Impact drew huge ratings the first night it went against WWE.
No,
it did not.
Bret Hart stomped that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bret Hart
They
came
got
back, didn't it?
killed the first night against WWE.
I forgot about that.
They but
That was a bad decision.
The first night is going to probably be big. It's those weeks and months following
Yeah,
that are going to
XFL
be very telling.
When the bloom's off the
XFL
rose.
killed it the first week. XFL did big numbers its first week.
Because it's easy to get people in initially.
Yeah.
It's a matter of retaining.
Hey, so
people.
what's your comic book rule? You'll always buy number 1.
I tend to buy number ones,
but you'll buy it only because
it's a number 1, yeah,
Yeah.
because
So-
it might be worth something.
We all watched episode 1, The Phantom Menace, but we were so disappointed by that, we still went to go see the other ones. But
please get off of this.
I saw
Wars.
Detective Pikachu twice
I want
in theaters. Just for the record.
did there's something I was going to ask about.
Is there any name that you want to get signed or see signed to AEW?
Luke Harper.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see Luke Harper.
Sasha Banks.
I mean, there's a lot of people. Honestly, there are a lot of people that I would like to see get that kind of platform.
Zack Ryder.
But it's one of those things. It's I'm not going to say I want people to be signed there just because we don't know how it's going to be presented. Let them get a few months worth of shows out, and then we can. And then we'll talk about okay, well then let's try to add to the talent pool.
I don't want it
Because
to
it's
turn
one of
into
those-
just buddies of them. Like, because it very much started with their core group.
Right.
And then they've got great talent. But what I don't want to see is I don't want it to become, and I don't think it will, but I really don't want
Just
it to become.
Hogan bringing in his buddies,
Yeah,
except now
I
it's
don't-
younger guys.
Younger, talented guys, but I don't want it to just be a clubhouse for the elite.
And
you
see,
know?
I think with Tommy Khan being the one that is backing it, I don't think that'll be a thing.
I don't think so either, but there's always a fear. With, when people get power, it changes them.
Because and this is the one thing that not a lot of people talk about when they talk about Tony Khan. Tony Khan.
Tony.
He owns like soccer teams in England. Like the dude is ignorantly smart when it comes to sports. And the only thing I've heard him do interviews, he did an interview with X-Pac a couple months back that was really good. The only thing that he threw me off with is he's like, we're going to pay attention to wins and losses. And I'm like, that's going to be a little
No, I think
odd.
that's
But like, it's a different take
because
on
we've
it.
been conditioned to the fact
Wins
that
and losses don't
those
matter.
truly don't matter, and so and that's one of the things that was that like it's going to be more of a focus on the action and the wrestling than
The
a soap
storyline,
opera
yeah.
stuff.
I hope they bring back the round system.
But you also don't want it to do no. They did that with the Grand Championship in TNA. Remember?
That was a joke, yeah. That was for sure a joke.
Yes, that division was a joke.
Yes.
But you don't want it to turn into like a TNA style thing where every time someone got released from WWE, the joke was
They were a star in
Oh, well,
TNA.
now they're about to get a world championship on TNA.
Because it wasn't,
Impact.
I mean, it was a joke,
And then
but
it
it was
turned
also
No, it was a
definitely
reality.
rooted in
But
reality.
yeah, it was just like, oh yeah, they're gonna Aaron Rex or like what was his name in WWE?
Damien Sandow?
Damien Sandow. He's gonna go to Impact and be the biggest star ever. And they tried to do stuff with him, and
He cut one promo.
For
just
every
didn't
Aaron
work.
Rex, or to a lesser extent Ken Anderson or Tyson Tomko, you had a Christian. Christian killed it.
Kurt
in
Angle,
TNA.
Jeff
Well,
Hardy.
that
Kurt
was
Angle, Jeff
also
Hardy.
but when you're saying Christian, that was also pre-Hogan. Like the thing that
You
Ace
saying like a post Hogan world or during Hogan?
While and post Hogan, that was very much a thing of WWE stars released. WWE star shows up in Impact, world title run, nothing after it. The only person I can say that's really not a case for is Sting and EC3.
Okay, but you're okay. So you're trying to tell me that there was no place in the TNA roster for the Nasty Boys.
Yes.
There was no place on the TNA roster for Val Venus.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Well, clearly there wasn't because they showed up like Val Venus. I think showed up, beat Christopher Daniels, got booed out of the building, and never came back.
All right, I know.
And then
I
the
know you
Nasty
hate
Boys
him.
showed up like
Who do I hate?
6 times maybe.
Brutus Beefcake. Was he ever in TNA?
Probably.
I don't know.
Because I know he was a friend of Hogan. He wasn't a friend of Hogan because Macho was in TNA briefly.
But that was
Briefly.
pre Hogan because I think Macho Man died before Hogan.
Before Hogan took power, yeah. So we
I don't like that I'm googling this.
He's Google. Well, just Google Beefcake
No,
and
that's not what I'm doing.
TNA, and then turn your safe search off. While he's Googling that, we do want to wish AEW all the best in the world because competition makes for great television. So if they're doing well, WWE would do well, hopefully, because they did when WCW was a threat to them. And even though I don't think we'll ever see another Monday Night Wars because you can't catch lightning in a bottle. Lightning doesn't strike twice.
And
however
also,
you say it.
WWE is now. You can't compare 90s WWE to what WWE is now.
It's a publicly
Like,
traded IP. It has a network.
Their ratings are higher. Or the ratings were higher in the 90s, and there was that energy about it. But from a corporation standpoint,
Yeah.
it's night and day.
I mean, they make more money now.
yeah,
So
hand over fist despite themselves.
the network alone puts them in such a different place. You know,
When you own that much tape library to
Right.
where you
Plus
can
the-
have a streaming service.
Yeah. Plus you got that Saudi money. It's
Which-
Fox giving them $1 billion.
yeah, WWE is in a good spot, and everyone wants a little piece of that WWE money. AEW is the first. They're the first ones that I've seen coming around in a long time that could make a run at WWE. But at this point, what does it take to be a direct competitor to WWE? I don't think it exists.
No, it's
It's like Walmart.
It's impossible for it seems impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it seems impossible for an upstart because WWE is WWE.
Right.
It has
It's
the
Walmart.
legacy. It's
Yeah.
got the 600 years of history.
No one's going to compete with Walmart.
Yeah.
Kmart out of business. Sears out of business. It doesn't matter who you are.
Partially out of business.
Walmart is Walmart, and it will always be Walmart. GameStop is GameStop. Like,
Well,
it's GameStop right now, but Walmart's a completely different machine. Walmart and WWE are like the same company. They're both so above everybody else. There's no chance. You know,
I mean, it's the same thing for Disney. Like,
Yeah.
you have those companies that are just That's the gold standard.
Not that they're monopolizing, but just that they are so well known.
But it's also worth noting that like AEW doesn't need to try to upend WWE to be successful.
Right.
They don't need to try
that would be a mistake.
to directly compete against WWE.
When you
they
have-
can focus on doing their own thing and putting out their own product, and if that works and their popularity continues to grow, then they may be seen as like a legit competitor, a head-to-head competitor. But that's going to take a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of billionaires aren't billionaires by losing money.
right.
And as much as Tony Khan loves wrestling, if this turns into be a failure, as much as he loves wrestling, you have to think he loves being a billionaire more.
Yeah.
And
So I don't think it would be a thing that he would just let it stagnate and be a money sink.
It's not going to be like Panda Energy.
Yeah.
I direct people to WCW. If you think, well, if you have a ton of money and great talent, they're going to kill it. WCW. All the money in the world, some of the best talent in the world, bad decisions, bad booking will lead to downfall. It doesn't matter.
Whenever you say bad talent or good talent, it goes back to the booking thing of like they had the best talent in the world.
Yeah,
They
WCW was untouchable.
They had Malenko, they had Guerrero, they had.
the cruiserweights, the marquee matches.
Yeah, they had the first hour.
But they didn't
Yeah.
care enough to make those the main focus.
No.
Whereas I think AEW is very much going to be the opposite of just we are going to reward good talent.
But do you think that will last? And I know the easy answer is yes, of course.
I think keeping Cody the AEW champion for a while is going to be a good idea.
Well, no,
because that is going to need to be your mouthpiece for that company for a while.
No, I don't mean that though. I don't mean that. What I mean is, and I'm trying to figure out how to say this correctly so I don't sound stupid. One of the big complaints in WCW was we're not pushing the new talent. Like Asa said, they had the first hour, all those guys. We never knew what would happen if we took those guys and put the focus on them and put them in the main event. We'll never know.
Yes, we do.
That time is over.
Go watch WrestleMania 20.
But I'm talking about in WCW. I'm talking about in WCW specifically.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but
we'll never know what would have happened if they would have taken those guys and said, okay, we're going to make you as important as the NWO.
But
would it have flourished, or would people have not cared?
Or people have just rejected, be like, no, who are these guys? We don't care about these guys. We only want to care about the NWO.
And I think AEW could fall into a similar situation where the people that already love these guys and the people that love indie wrestling will flock to it. But when you come to a mainstream audience, at first it will be huge because it's different, but will they stay? Even if it's great wrestling, even if it's great storytelling, will those fans stick around when WWE is still there? I wonder what's going to happen.
I think if you're watching Monday Night Raw and you're seeing what you are currently seeing on Monday Night Raw, hopefully this makes WWE try harder.
That's what I hope.
Oh no, it's the thing of like I can't wait to see what Raw and SmackDown look like the 2 weeks before, during, and after AEW debuts.
They're going to be
look
the
at what
best television ever.
Because when Impact went to Monday, that was the first appearance Bret Hart on Monday Night Raw since the Screwjob.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And
it's like what kind of big guns will they pull out, or do they even, or it's also a question of does that register? Because you have to think that they're going to do something. They're not just going to put out.
It's not going to be what it is now.
We're not going to get a 5-minute Baron Corbin promo to kick off Raw.
But will it be what that used to work? Undertaker appearance, Hogan appearance,
McMahon.
Will they go, well, this worked before, it'll work now? Because it won't. Like
you know what my prediction is?
Hogan?
We'll see Vince.
Yeah.
We're also going to see a pushing of people like your Cesaros, like your Zack Ryders.
I bet Stone Cold will be there.
There will be an NXT call up of Adam Cole or all of Undisputed Era. There will be something like that, because right now that isn't what's going to work. Because when you had Hogan in Impact and they moved to Monday nights, all right, so you have Impact with Hogan and Ric Flair and Mankind and all them, or Mick Foley and all them. Cool. We'll bring back Brett. We'll fight nostalgia with nostalgia. What's nostalgia going to do against a company that is saying a wrestling generation for our generation?
Well,
or
plus-
wrestling for our generation. What are you going to do? You're not going to bring back Hogan. You may have Vince, but you're not going to bring out
and I don't.
the
There's no nostalgia to match that. The only reason that worked because that was the first time Bret Hart had appeared since the Screwjob.
That wasn't just
CM
nostalgia.
Punk.
That wasn't just
Punk.
nostalgia.
Punk
it was
is the
history.
only one.
Punk is the only person that you can
And it'll
bring in
never
that
happen.
does, and it won't happen. But Punk is the only person they can bring in to
That's true.
attack AEW.
That is true.
Can you imagine if they just threw so much money at him, he became corporate Punk?
Like it was
Just
so much money he
but
couldn't
they
turn
brought
it
him
down.
in as a heel because
Yeah.
they knew people would be like, the internet would friggin'
Crucify him.
turn on him.
Yeah.
They would crucify him if he re-signed with WWE.
When did you
instead
sign
of
with
going to
AEW? Yeah. Oh my God. That would
And then
be-
he shows off his solid gold house and says, "This is why." So we'll keep up with the AEW story. We can't keep talking about it forever. We want to get 25 minutes on it.
The other note that is important is not only will TNT be broadcasting them live, they made it sound like AEW's weekly show would be streaming, and as well as their, I guess they have a stake in Bleacher Report Live.
Really?
I've never heard of
Oh
that.
yeah, because I saw that it would stream on BR. I didn't know what BR was.
BR is Bleacher Report
Okay.
Live. So it's BR Live, Bleacher Report Live. And that is going to be the sole place you can get the pay-per-view for like Double or Nothing.
also.
So it's which apparently the first prices have leaked and it's like $50.
You're gonna need to pay that if you want something like this to succeed.
Yeah.
Like
It's a business.
yeah, like, and that's the thing. That was probably
The
the funniest.
WWE network has spoiled us, yes, but
So this is $50 per.
pay-per-view potentially. It's a $10 subscription and then an additional fee to buy pay-per-views.
because that's what Ring of Honor is.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor is like $10 a month. I keep it for kicks and giggles. Unless there's a match I really want to watch and I can like wait 2 weeks after the pay-per-view airs and then I can just watch it. But I support Ring of Honor. I support New Japan. I think it's just those two that I have besides the network. But if I want, like, I think I did pay extra for All In. I paid like $20-25 for All In.
Yeah.
I'm using my one. Don't fucking steal Double or Nothing. Pay your money to watch it. I don't care if there's 10 of you and you guys each chip $5 in. That doesn't bother me at all. Somebody needs to pay for that pay-per-view. Do not steal.
You know, that reminds me of a meme I saw recently of the
Is
guy.
it the two wants to support AEW but two broke? It's a Bullet Club shirt, a Young Buck shirt, ramen, and then an AEW shirt.
No, but that's very funny. No.
Yeah, I'll find it really quick, but it's hilarious.
The one I was thinking of is the guy who it's like 10 years ago, and he turns on Netflix. He's like, "Wow, this streaming's pretty good," and he takes off his pirate hat. I won't need this anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And then it skips ahead to today, where there's 50 streaming services that he has to pay for, and he pulls the hat out like my old friend.
He's got the cobwebs and
Yeah.
stuff on it.
Yeah.
It goes back to the thing of you can legally like, and it. Yes, I understand it's money and I understand it's tight, but at the same time, don't steal it because that doesn't help anybody.
I remember
nothing annoys me more than whenever a UFC happens and I see it streamed on Facebook.
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
Well, except that one time.
All right, the one dude that said he
But
was playing the video
guy,
game
was pretty
that
sweet.
was
Like,
clever.
That guy's a
so-
dick, but that's hilarious.
It's like that thing of you'll pay $50 for this, but you won't pay $10 to support your like local wrestling company or something like that.
You'll buy, because I am an artist, you will buy the mass-produced art that can be $50 when your local artist will probably charge you less for something that is completely unique.
Yeah, no, I sell one shirt a show, but I get it because like SCU is here. Like,
Yeah.
don't
Well, this is the worst.
buy a Dalton Anthony shirt that day. Don't. No, the SCU.
It's the worst town they've ever been in.
Yeah, like
That's what they said.
I need to find this picture of Too Broke to Afford All In.
We'll do that and we'll
I'm
move on,
gonna
'cause
work
Let's
on it,
let's
yeah.
move on to a very funny story while he looks at
No,
Oh,
no, don't
gosh.
preface it like that. It's a
That's the
series.
sarcasm.
Thank
That's the
you.
sarcasm in me because one of my legitimate favorite luchador cruiserweights from the old WCW cruiserweight era, Silver King, passed away in the ring. Was it over the weekend?
It was
I
over
believe.
the weekend.
And I know he was in the ring. He was in the ring with Juventud Guerrera, which sucks because I'm also a Juventud Guerrera fan. And this was in London, surprisingly. I thought it was in Mexico originally, but it was in London. It's sad enough that he died. He was only 51. It's sad enough that he passed away because Silver King, I remember seeing him in WCW back during the cruiserweight era, and he didn't look like the other cruiserweights. He was a little thicker. He was a little bigger. But he flew just like everybody else. Allie and I watched the thing with him versus Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, like, the dude was incredible. What an incredible cruiserweight. So fast and so agile. It's sad enough that he died, but what's even sadder is the circumstances in which he died.
It was in the ring, yeah.
And not only that, but the way that it was handled. Have you seen the video?
I know.
No,
I still haven't seen the Paraguay Junior. I
don't want to see the video, but I've read the people's reaction of it's like 2 minutes and 45 seconds before anyone goes out there because like no one knows what to do.
It's infuriating.
And not like it's, I wouldn't even say it's because it was like it clearly wasn't malicious.
No.
I think it was, or even incompetence. It was just like,
I feel like it might have been incompetence.
I mean, I don't know. It's just, again, I haven't seen the video, so I can't speak to it. But like reading people's recaps,
I will describe it to you.
It feels like it's because he goes down and it's like clearly something's up.
So
but then Juventud like thinks he's just selling, so he kicks him again.
Yeah. So there's a part where he does a move. He does like a clothesline, and then they're both on the ground. And he's trying to get back up, and you can clearly tell he can't get to his feet. He's shaking. He's struggling to get up, and the ref checks on him. I don't know what's said, obviously. But as he's trying to get up, Juventud then comes off the rope and kicks him, to which point he falls down again, and he's just down. Then Juventud, and up to that point, I might agree with you that it was like no one knows what's going on, but it's that point, Juventud tries to roll him over to pin him and can't. Because he's a bigger guy.
Right.
So he's literally yanking and pulling on him, trying to get him pulled over. Juventud eventually stops, looks around, throws up like, what the hell's going on? And then literally has to force Silver King over to pin him. So he pins him. The ref counts 1, 2, stops on the third, a good 3 seconds, looks around like, this isn't the finish. What's going on? Counts the 3 anyway. And then Juventud celebrates for like 2 minutes while Silver King is literally laying dead in the ring. And it's at that point when Juventud finally leaves the ring, the ref comes over to him again, checks on him, and you see people start to get in the ring to help him. By that point, it's too late.
Yeah.
There's probably a good 3 to 4 minutes.
It was 2 minutes and 30 seconds
Of
total.
Like the whole thing?
The whole thing, because that was someone put
Someone
up the
actually timed it?
Someone put up the numbers because people were saying the same thing of just like no one got out there.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, well, it always feels longer when you're watching it.
It did.
Especially live.
It did.
Because like from the first sign of trouble to like when people finally responded, it was like 2 minutes and like 30, 45 seconds or something like that.
And it's one of those like also you don't know if someone's selling now. You should be checking on the dude if it's something like that. I've always been checked on if I appeared hurt.
Yeah, there's no way in hell that like when Juventud was trying to pin him, that anyone checked on him and said, hey, are you okay? And he said, I'm good.
Right.
Because like he was clearly, I don't know if he was dead at that point, but he was clearly not responding. And I can't help but think if this was in a WWE ring, give them credit, because the moment any of that would have happened, match is over.
I mean,
X
we've seen that happen whenever Enzo got concussed.
Right.
And like Simon Gotch went over to pick him up and the ref just pushed him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you get things like that. It's not always that situation. And like and I'm not trying to defend anybody, but it's just one of those like I have never nor ever want to be in that situation. So I can't really attest to how I would react in that situation.
Let's take me and you our match, right? If at that point I went through the table, if something had seriously gone wrong to where you were trying to pull me and like you have to literally dead weight pull me because I'm not responding, I feel like you would have, I don't know, would you have checked on me? Would you have said, hey, are you okay?
I checked on you whenever I pinned you.
That was when you pinned, but I'm saying when you pulled me, would you have continued to pin me even if I was dead? And let's say
no, because I wasn't checking for you at that point. I was getting you to the next thing. I was getting you to the ring so I could pin you out of the table.
Yeah.
And I checked you whenever I rolled over, like Asa, like I checked you whenever I rolled over into that pin. That's when I checked on you. I didn't check on you before because I was like,
but you would have checked
if something didn't look right, then there would have been an issue. Like whenever I went down, I would have pinned you, but I would have pinned you over my body so I could have had my head down. But you looked fine.
Right. But this guy did not look fine.
Yeah, it's one of those like if I would have noticed something, I would have still pinned to get the heat out and then just be like, all right, cool. I would have been like laying go, like get him.
Yeah.
But you looked fine in that situation. But I still would have checked you into the pin. I probably wouldn't have drug you as far. I would have if I'd have seen. I was like, oh no, and I would have hooked the leg and went down instead of going over.
Or let's say that wasn't the finish of the match. Let's say the finish was you throw me into the table, I hit it, you go for the pin, I kick out, and then we do some more stuff, and I never kick out. Then you would have been like, something's wrong.
Well, yeah.
Right. and that's like, no matter where you chop it up in this video, whether it's the part where he's struggling to get to his feet, whether it's the part where he just goes completely limp, especially when Juventud's trying to pull him over for the pin, and then the fact that the ref stops for 3 seconds and looks around like, what's going on?
Can I give you a good point of reference to like kind of understand what I'm saying? Go watch Owen Hart, Steve Austin when Austin broke his neck.
Yeah, Owen checked on him and immediately like
and then started yelling at the crowd.
Right.
Because it's one of those you try to buy time. And again, I'm not going to watch the video because again, I still didn't watch the Paraguay Jr. one.
It's not. I mean, it's not. I didn't watch the video out of enjoyment. I think I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm going to. I didn't watch it because I wanted to watch a person.
And I'm not downing anybody that watched it. It's just one of those. I am not going to go out of my way to see it. I was super bummed out because I didn't watch WCW until I was like 14, 15, and I was watching it on VHS from Village Video in Perryville. Like that's whenever I watched it. So I have a very limited knowledge of Silver King.
he wasn't my favorite cruiserweight, but he was one of my favorite cruiserweights.
Yeah, and he had a cool look. Like, I mean, well, all those luchadors in WCW had a cool look.
Yeah, but he was different. He didn't wear a mask. Like I said, he was a little bit bigger, but he was as good as anybody else.
Yeah.
So Silver King dead at 51, and
that's a
extremely
it's a
heartbroken
tragedy.
about
Yeah.
it. Yeah. It's like when the incident with Rey Mysterio. It's just
Yeah,
it's an
that's the one
accident.
that's
It's
the
an
one I keep talking
accident.
about.
Things could have been handled better, maybe. And if you're not in the situation, it is easy to criticize when you're not there.
I think the Rey Mysterio Paraguayer Jr. one, and I hope I'm saying that right.
That's why I didn't even try.
That was more of a freak accident where he just like his neck broke. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Or it's like his windpipe broke.
I don't remember. Yeah, I remember like because it was when he was doing it was the setup for the 619.
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
drop kicked into the rope, and something about
and
his,
that's
Yeah.
what broke. This was a heart attack, wasn't it?
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Like it's a little bit different, but it's a tragedy anyway. You deal with it.
Anytime someone dies, it's a tragedy. Anytime someone dies in the ring, it's a tragedy. It doesn't happen as often as you think. I can only think of a handful of times that I know personally of a wrestler dying in the ring. But it's
About to say I only have two right now, and they're both. I mean, Silver King and the others.
well, didn't Ted DiBiase's father die in the ring? Iron Mike.
Maybe.
I'm almost positive it was either him or
don't know.
Curtis Henning's dad, one of them. But anyway, yeah, it sucks. Like that's all you can really say is it sucks.
You mean? Are you talking about Curtis Axel, his dad? Well, I mean that's Mr. Perfect. He didn't die in the ring.
No, Kurt Henning's dad,
No,
which I don't think it was because he
Larry-
just died a couple years ago, didn't he?
I think Larry the Axe
Axe.
Henny is died like a year or two ago. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it was Iron Mike. You look that up real quick. Mike DiBiase. While we're doing that, we do have to move on. Again, our thoughts and prayers out to the family and fans of Silver King. If you've never watched him wrestle, I do encourage you to look it up because he was extremely talented. Very tragic. We talked about this last week, and we kind of treated it as we don't know if we want to talk about it because we don't know if it's true. Well, now it is.
Well, it wasn't even that we didn't know if it was true.
Because we reported
it was
on
just,
this like a year ago.
Yeah, it was more of a.
Did we report on this a year ago?
Yeah, I very much remember talking about this situation whenever it first came up. But now WWE.
We had this conversation last week too. Yes, it's been news for a while, but now it's only just now resurfacing. And it's not that it wasn't that we didn't know if it was true. It was that it's not typically the type of thing that we would cover.
Yeah, I remember talking about it.
And that's what we said last week. Is I couldn't remember if we talked about it on the show, or if it was just a thing that we talked about, like driving to Stride or something.
It was a show.
Well,
it was definitely PW.
Definitely don't recall talking about it, but point is that they responded in fining Lars Sullivan for the comments that he made on a bodybuilding forum, $100,000.
And he also issued a statement, and then they fined him the $100,000, and he
issued the statement before the fine, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you want to clarify that?
And then he was now being mandated to take sensitivity training. I think the big story coming out of this came from Titus O'Neil tweeted out, and I want to say it was someone from the New Day also said something similar, of like WWE was aware this had happened. They were hoping that it wouldn't blow up again like it has, but apparently Lars on his own before this came out approached various people. Like Titus O'Neil even made a statement that he came to him and asked and personally apologized and asked him, the steps that he can take to, prove that that's not, that's not the person he is 9 years later.
Right.
So whether or not that's a apology that has been accepted, or if it's genuine, we have no way of we can't say that it's not.
Well, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Especially if I didn't hear about that. So so you're saying he went to these guys before this ever came out and told them, hey, some things were said. I apologize.
I think he said it was before it came out. It may have been, and even if it was after, the way. Let me see if I can find the tweet.
Because it's very easy for people to apologize once they've been caught. Hulk Hogan apologized once he got caught. He never apologized to anybody before the video came out. He only apologized. It's one of those things of, is he apologizing for what he did, or is he apologizing for getting caught?
Yeah, but whenever you do something that you don't find to be a big deal, you tend to forget about it. So there's a chance that if this wasn't before he got caught, he was just going, man, I was real stupid at one point. not thinking about a specific instance to apologize for.
This is the Titus O'Neil tweet. He tags Lars. I applaud you for seeking out myself and others on the WWE roster to not only sincerely apologize, but also seek guidance as to how to move forward in being a better human being than you were 9 years ago. Nobody's perfect, including thank you, Vince McMahon, for taking action. So there's weird, like, kind of
He might have just
dropped,
goofed.
like, dropped thought there. But, yeah,
Because that definitely does not sound like he came to him before the incident.
yeah,
then.
so, and like I said, I think there was someone else that spoke up about, that had mentioned that he had, like, reached out to him. But like I said, even if it isn't, because, again, it's one of those things where if WWE knew about it before they signed him, and we knew about it last year in NXT, the roster knew about it.
Yeah.
This was not like someone didn't open Reddit or Twitter one day and be like, he said what?
They weren't tuning into PW and they found out.
Yeah, like it's something that has already been known. So, he could have these could have already been conversations that he's had with people, and even if it is like a thing where, okay, it was a long time ago, WWE knows about it, so maybe it's just like we're not gonna, like, it's not a deal.
Right.
But now that it's being brought up again, you have to address it, which they thankfully did.
I have two questions.
He also responded to someone O'Neil responded to someone and said that the fine was legit. Like,
I heard it was real. It was a real fine. Dalton, two thoughts on this. And one, you, and it could be jokingly, you could be serious, I don't know. Since the Hogan thing, continue to refer to Hogan as a racist. You make jokes about it all the time. Does Lars Sullivan get the same treatment for the rest of his career? Or is there a difference between what Hulk Hogan did and what Lars Sullivan did?
I don't think there's a difference, honestly. I think that the fine.
That was going to be my second question.
Yeah.
What's the fine?
I'm so torn about how they're handling this because it's one of those things that, and it does go back to the Hogan thing of,
Hogan's apology. You also have to look at the apology.
The apology was kind of like it did feel like it was more or less forced, and it was also the whole
Be careful with what you say because there's cameras everywhere.
that comment.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if Lars is going out of his way one by one to apologize, good on him.
Well,
and I make the jokes. I don't have a personal issue with Hogan. I just like.
Well, I want to address that real quick. The whole, he goes to someone one-on-one and stuff like that. One, we don't know what the apology from Lars Sullivan was.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows. Hogan very publicly made his apology, and it was a shitty apology.
Yeah.
Lars
And then
Sullivan,
look at the reaction that look at the Hall of Fame when he came out.
and the New Day didn't.
And look at not only did the New Day, but like a lot of the wrestlers there, kind of like their attitudes, their postures, their body language.
Do you think
Where they can-
who Hogan is and who Lars is plays a part in that?
Yes.
Where that they may be more akin to go like, well, screw that guy, Hulk Hogan. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here because I feel like the situations are extremely similar. That when dumb people say dumb things, it's really hard to tell whether or not they're sincere about I am sorry or oh shit. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I need to make good on this.
And that's going to lead into like the whole fine thing. Here's what, and it's going to go lead into what you said about like WWE had to have known about all this.
Mm-hmm.
Fire them, or just make them do this. The $100,000 fine seems really weird to me.
I like Allie's point on
the
this.
The only thing, the fine only makes sense if that money is put back into something else.
But where is that money? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if they have donated that money to
anti-bullying
or
but
anything like that.
It has to, because if it's just we're not paying you this money or you have to pay us this money, go to hell, WWE.
Right.
If you're taking $100,000 from this dude and you're keeping it and that's the punishment, oh my God.
And I think that's where because I said it earlier, I was like, it's either like fire him or don't fine him at $100,000 because it's one of those like we don't know unless they say tomorrow, oh, I went to be a star. I'm like, okay, but like right now it's just like we took $100,000 from this dude.
Yeah, why didn't they fine Hogan?
They just fired him. But there's your precedent.
Mm-hmm.
That Hogan, like, and again, I'm gonna side with Hogan on this one. That's your precedent. When did Hogan say that racist shit on that sex tape?
And that was someone on Twitter
Years before.
Right.
And that's the point.
Right.
Someone on Twitter even pointed out, like, Leo Rush apparently breaks some backstage etiquette and is just kind of a jerk. They pull him from the show. Like, he's not even, like, he removed the WWE listings from, like, his social media presences now. Whereas it's like Lars Sullivan, it comes out, he said all of this stuff. He's getting a, pretty major push on TV.
And it could be the whole thing, hey, we see something in this guy, so we're going to keep using him. But, hey, we fined him $100,000, so, like, that's a lot of money. But it's at the same time, literally the biggest fucking star in the history of professional wrestling, did the same
Which
thing.
there were way more eyes on that. Like if you go up to 100 people and ask them, "Have you heard about what Hulk Hogan said?"
Here's a picture of Hulk Hogan. Here's a picture of
Not even that. Like,
Lars
but
Sullivan.
like, okay, so have you heard about what Hulk Hogan said? And then have you heard about Lars Sullivan said? You're going to get like 9 out of 10 are going to say yes and who.
Who's Lars Sullivan?
But at the same time, that's your precedent, and you do that to the biggest guy in professional wrestling. Look what we did to the biggest name in professional wrestling.
It's not fair. Like that,
It's
and
not-
that's,
no,
life's
and-
just not fair. I mean, that's just what it is. It's like, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Al. Let me get right to you. But it's just that Hogan is a bigger name. Hogan got a different treatment because Hogan was an old star. They weren't going to use him in the future. Hogan was expendable. Lars Sullivan is someone they see money in. They want to keep him. It's shitty that you would treat people differently based on the circumstance. And they can tell you that they're straight up and like, we value family and all that. But that's just corporate bullshit. It is what it is. Allie.
I think with the comparison between Lars Sullivan and Leo Rush, if what Titus has said is true, that he is, even if it's after he got caught, if he's seeming to make sincere apologies face to face with people, that's not in front of cameras, that's not really being published except for what Titus tweeted, you're seeing someone's actions being different. He is being punished for what he did, and possibly not in a weird way, depending on where the money goes, in my opinion. But his actions that they are seeing currently view something different. While Leo Rush is acting in a way currently that they don't like.
Yeah.
That they don't want to push, that they don't want to reward in any way. So that, I don't think, and I might be wrong, that Titus wouldn't have any other reason to post that tweet if it wasn't true.
Well, Titus O'Neil to me seems like he is just the super coolest, nicest guy in the world. I really want to hear what Big E has to say about it, and I don't mean that as a joke.
Well, he's too busy trying to get with Becky's mom. So
And shut Billy Graham up, son of a bitch. I will finish this off by saying that I do not believe that what we say, especially years ago, defines us. I've talked about it a million times. I don't think that Hulk Hogan was a racist because he said those things. I don't think Lars Sullivan is a racist because he said those things. You can say something in public that is stupid and terrible and not be that person, but at the same time, because you said those things,
you were held accountable.
and there is something inside of you that you need to address.
And I
hope that he addresses it.
And whenever I say, like, it's not that I want Lars Sullivan to be fired.
No.
I just think it's a weird choice because at the same time, like, hell, I don't want anybody to not have a job. Like, again, Hogan probably has enough money to skate by, but I think he might have been unjustly fired.
Well, he had
I
enough
mean, I
money.
want Nazis to not have a job.
Okay,
but
fair enough, yeah.
Like, no, like there is a certain time, like I will say that, like, if there are people who truly like believe that their race is superior and things like that, like, yeah, maybe go fuck yourself and your fat fucking ass. Like, I hold no fuck off Nazi punks. But
he used two, so you can't get one.
but I'm not saying. But at the same time, like, I'm not flat out saying Lars Sullivan is a Nazi. Like, I'm
Right.
not saying that at all. But like, because if he has remorse, and because apparently he apologized to WWE, because like I said, when they knew this happened, he expressed remorse and that he wishes he didn't do it. This also kind of feels like he was just shit posting.
Right.
He was trolling on the internet, which not better really,
No,
but
because
kind of.
a lot of that comes from a place that is inside of you.
Yeah,
You know?
because like it's but
Because, like, yo, you know what'd be funny? Blah, 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 blah.
so it's a weird. So it's a thing where it's like, if the only reason I think if he should be fired, it's just because they fired Hogan.
Right.
And it's a very similar thing.
and that's what I.
thing.
And like, that's
Yeah,
what you're
precedent.
saying. It's the precedent. So if they're not going to fire him, and and I do hope that he's like, made strides and has decided, that's not the person he wants to be. He's
Yeah.
not.
This is a good-
and that's not the person he was. It's a very, very tricky situation that we only get secondhand knowledge of.
Right. And this is an opportunity. We say it before, life's all about opportunities. This is an opportunity for him to become better, for him to teach others, and that $100,000, where is it going? I think that's a very important question.
I mean, yeah, it is an important question, but it's also like, but the distinction between like Hogan and Lars because what Hogan said was abhorrent, and like very clearly you could never try to say, oh well, he was just joking, he was just trolling. Like,
No, that was-
this is a private
Those
conversation.
were beliefs that he held.
It was a
Yeah.
private conversation.
So, and it's that thing of it's all in the apology to me, and like and not even just the apology, but the steps taken after. If he is going up to people and trying to make amends and genuinely working on how can I, not even prove that I'm not this person, but how can I make it better? How can I help fix this?
Yeah.
Then that does more than what we've seen and what we've heard of what Hogan did.
Well, at
Because-
first, I think it's important to note that even, Big E and a lot of the guys have said, thank you, Hogan, for listening. Like, it seems like he has also made strides recently, like in the past couple of months. But this is something that has been around for years.
Right.
Yeah.
So that it took him that long, again,
It's never too late. Like, that's
No,
the
it's
thing. It's
not.
like, I'm not going to say,
But
I'm like,
is it legit?
like
That's always the question.
It's absolutely like it is 100% possible for my opinion of Hulk Hogan to change. It's just I need to see something meaningful come from it.
I wish I was a kid again to where I could look at these guys as the characters and not the people. Once you get so involved in the
So
business,
you can only see what happens.
so
Like,
I could
the only
just
thing
see
you know
Hulk
is what's on
Hogan.
TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Just see Hulk Hogan. Just see the Ultimate Warrior,
'Cause
and not know who they are.
Right. So it's one of those things. I don't know. It's just I also look forward to like if Big E or the New Day or someone like issues a statement.
Yeah, because as
About
weird as
that.
it sounds, Big E seems like such a straight shooter.
Yeah.
I want to know what he says because Titus is a straight shooter, but he also seems like the kind of guy that promotes love and forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I think Big E is a
Yeah.
little bit stricter when it comes to like forgiveness.
Right.
But that is something that if there is more to it, we'll see what happens. We'll see
Yeah.
where his career goes. We really got to move on though, because we're 50 minutes in.
Oh,
50 minutes. Jake, is it Hager or Hagar?
Hager.
Hager? Jake Hager, a.k.a. the former Jack
Swagger.
almost said Sparrow, wins his second Bellator fight. Good on him. So he's 2-0.
Against a meatpacking plant guy.
Yeah. It wasn't.
they-
the dude looked like an employee for Best Buy.
Yeah. He
You want me to pull the picture up?
Yes, I do.
All right. So, do you want to talk about how he's kind of a dick?
because he held on to the submission.
Hager?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. He held on to it, dude tapped, and then he held on to it longer. And like the ref literally had to like push him off, and then looked at him like, "What the are you doing?"
Yeah. It was it
Was it a heel hook?
No, it was a fucking choke.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's
that was his finisher.
it's
Sorry, I took your one.
I'll just take them all.
it's it was not a good look, especially when it's essentially he's just being fed guys.
Right.
Like this was even his first fight was against kind of a nobody.
Well, do you think that's because of Punk? And hear me out when I say that. Like, because Punk was put in against some... his first fight was a pretty good fighter. Are they feeding him guys because they're like, well, we could make a star out of him,
It's because
but we're afraid that he's going to get beat.
UFC does not have a joke fighter on their roster, except for kind of CM Punk. Whereas like Bellator is very much known for their. We're gonna bring in these two guys that probably shouldn't be in an MMA fight.
Do you remember there was an old TV show
Were they
called,
just Power Man or whatever?
like Tough Man Contest?
Yeah.
And do you remember who was like one of their top guys?
No.
Hardbody Harrison.
I remember my stepdad used to watch
You remember
that.
Hardbody Harrison?
Yeah, because he got in trouble for like sex trafficking.
He was
Trafficking.
he was a WCW wrestler who became like a great tough man fighter, and then he got arrested for pimping, basically.
You want to see
sack of shit.
you
Oh
wanna
yeah, because
see-
they talked about him on
on a Jericho podcast.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
You want to see the weigh-in picture?
I
All
do.
right.
yeah,
Okay,
it's-
no, take it away.
Yeah.
Take it
It's,
away.
That's a legitimate win.
I don't even remember fighting. So congrats to Jay Hager.
But also, listen to the ref next time.
It's almost like that Pro Jared thing. It's like, oh, well, congratulations. Wait, I just saw what happened. I take it
Never
back.
mind. Take it back.
Mauro Ranallo signs a new deal to remain with NXT. Do we know for how long?
No, but he's going to remain as their lead commentator, which
Sweet.
good.
That's good. He's real
Takeovers
good.
are so good because of that.
Killer
NXT
Cross
is so good because of
requests his Impact release.
This is apparently over financial a financial dispute. He thinks he's worth more than what Impact is going to pay him. Impact kind of has a very interesting stance on this of, so we hired you, no one knew who you were. We gave you a platform, you've done very well for yourself, and now you're becoming more and more popular. So now he's like, well, look how popular I am. There's outside interest. Give me more money. Well, you already signed a contract
Right.
before you were popular. Like, we were giving you this platform. The only reason you're this popular is because of us. So it's kind of a weird,
It's a solid argument.
Chicken and egg.
yeah,
argument.
like yeah, they both kind of have points of, but apparently he's alluding to that there's WWE interest.
Now, it's not unheard of, though, for someone that once they take off and become more popular to renegotiate their contract, because if you're making them more money now, you should see a cut of that. So that's not unheard of. So I kind of get where he's coming at on this.
Oh yeah, no, it's one of those things you definitely see both sides of it.
Right.
It's just
Like you signed the contract, this is what you're doing.
Right.
But also, the circumstances are different now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Do you think we'll see Killer Cross in WWE?
Not for a while until that contract's up.
Honestly, I kind of hope not, because I would honestly rather see him in New Japan.
Yeah, he would fit in really well there.
because he has a pretty unique look for New Japan.
Yeah.
Whereas he would just be another pretty big guy in NXT WWE.
Right.
Very talented. Like, I enjoy watching his stuff, and he's been like his alliance that he formed with like Moose and Austin Aries there for a little bit.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like, he's done some super cool stuff, and I would like to see him be used.
So, quick question before we move on: did Austin Aries ever do anything else in Impact, or is he still gone?
He is not. He hasn't appeared again since he did the walkout against Johnny
Safe
Impact.
safe to say at this point that probably wasn't a work.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to look like that, but you never know. It's still that, like, the first episode of AEW is going to air, and like, no, it's still Cody's still working for WWE. It's all at work.
This is a crazy story to me. Yuke has created a new team to work on a new wrestling game. We actually watched a video on this the other day, and it's not WWE.
Burn 2K to the ground, that trash franchise and trash games. Give me something fun.
Well, okay, thank God he fixed it. He didn't just say, give me something else. He said, give me something fun. Because there's a good chance they can make a terrible, like this 5-star Regenesis wrestling game?
That game's bullshit.
Oh.
Also, the game I bought on Steam is also bullshit.
I think one of the guys' name was Andy Organ, is one of the wrestlers.
Not the one that I bought, but yeah, it's because it's like uses like a mock-up of the Aki
Mike
engine.
Iceberg is one of the wrestlers.
I'm not going to lie, like, I think it's pretty telling that of all of the video games that Austin Creed plays on Up, Up, Down, Down for wrestling, he plays games from 2006.
Yeah.
The only time he shows 2K content is when he's doing pay-per-view.
Promotional stuff.
When he's doing, like, promotional stuff and pay-per-view previews. Because that's just who that has the roster.
2K series, like, it's a good series. It is a good series. The wrestling is solid. It's just not as fun.
My poop is solid.
Like,
I played it for
Mine's
5
not
Just kidding.
I played it for 5
mostly
hours
blood.
last week when my poop wasn't solid because I was having that much fun with it.
here's what I want. Give me Fire Pro on Switch.
I counter that. Have this Yuke's team make a Switch exclusive game that's essentially the No Mercy engine.
But who do you put on it? Like, do you create an all-new cast?
No,
or do
WWE. Because Yuke's is a 2K company. Like,
Yeah.
they're under the same.
But from what I understand, this is not a WWE game.
They
said this is a non-WWE wrestling game they're making.
Oh, I thought they said it was a non-2K, like WWE 2K game.
No, from when I heard on this video, because I watched the video on it the other day, that this is a new wrestling game that is not WWE exclusive, which to me is like, okay,
don't do that, though.
give me WWE All Stars 2, damn it.
No,
No, I don't
give
do
me-
that either.
First
bring
hand,
back No
love that
Mercy.
game.
Bring back No Mercy. Like, just give me
Give you
that
the engine
wrestling
with the new
engine
graphics.
with the graphics that the Switch can run.
yeah, actually, not even new graphics. Give me the No Mercy graphics, but in HD with
Okay.
better animation and with like not polygony.
Yeah.
but like it doesn't have to be extremely realistic because you saw what happened with 2K18. They were talking about Saints Row 3 as the worst port for Switch right now. It's not. Like, it's not. There are problems, but have you ever played 2K18? That is the worst thing I've ever played.
It doesn't even run.
It doesn't even run. It runs like your refrigerator.
Or
not
like poop.
well. Out your
But
butt. Damn it. Goldberg versus Mike Iceberg versus The Undertaker announced for the next Saudi show.
And I don't care.
nope. Yep. It's just that's the news thing.
All right,
But
cool. We got through it. Raw.
They know he's Jewish, right?
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
We've talked about whenever he was announced, we made the same statements.
Because they're gonna have to call him Bill Gold. Just Bill Gold.
Golden Bill.
Golden.
Golden Bill next.
Shit, there's your
You're
gimmick.
next.
Golden Bill next.
You are
good.
next.
Who's next? Mortal
next.
Kombat. Let's talk about Raw. Let's talk about the Firefly Funhouse. Firefly Funhouse. Fuck.
Wow.
Well, you just used one from last week.
I said fug.
Oh.
So glad that you're our friend.
This is a friendship that'll never.
God, it's so fucking creepy.
This is legitimately one of my favorite
All right, Hollis,
things
Billy.
WWE has ever done.
Yeah.
I like.
Did you like this week's though?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that it already took the dark turn, or do you think
It
they
needed
could have
to.
stretched it out
It
further?
took the dark turn the first time.
Yeah, it's always been kind of dark, but like we're
but
finally
this
getting
finally, yeah, this went
because
over the edge.
at a certain point it starts to get like okay, but
Speed it the hell up.
What are you gonna do with it? Like,
Yeah.
but now we actually see like he's got the Tom Savini Joker mask, which. Not thrilled with the mask just because it seems like such a blatant ripoff of New
Joker?
52 Joker.
A tattoo artist in Missouri did it.
Really?
And
Yeah.
Savini's team created it.
Yeah.
I did like someone's comment on that, though. They said, you could just go get the Death in the Family mask at Barnes & Noble for $30.
Yeah, the death of the family mask. Which, because it definitely borrowed from that heavily, but it looks super cool. I kind of hope he wrestles in it.
He has to.
Like I feel, I
like Kane. You know? Yeah.
I was listening to somebody speculate what would be cool, and somebody was like, have him wrestle as heel and face. Like 1 week, like AJ, he has to face AJ Styles, but he comes out as like the Mr. Rogers character, and he's a face. And then the next week he comes out but it's like the Demon, but more sporadic.
Yeah.
I was like, that would be interesting until they ruined it.
I could see it
I
being
don't
a
trust
dual
them.
personality thing.
Because they wanted to, like Cody pitched something like that for have Stardust on SmackDown, but Cody Rhodes on Raw.
Yeah.
And have one be face and one be heel. Like that might be able to work, but I don't.
The fans are dumb.
But if you gave somebody that to do, Bray Wyatt is the perfect person to do that with.
I mean, it's just, but that the happy Firefly Funhouse character, I don't see as a wrestler.
Well,
I don't see him as like.
I do. I think this is going to be a extreme version of the Demon from Finn Balor, where you have happy-go-lucky, yowie wowie Bray Wyatt who wrestles,
and then you have yowie wowie.
Well, you have you know how Bray
so cool.
Like how Finn Balor has the Demon,
right?
Bray Wyatt has the same thing, but instead of him being like, "Oh,
Sister
you're gonna,"
Abigail?
kind of, but like, instead of you're gonna face the Demon, it's my strength. It's more of a, please don't do that. Don't awaken that inside of me, because when you do that, I'm out of control. So,
But he doesn't play it like that. He very much is just
Yeah.
like, no, this is the darkness that has literally been here the entire time. Guess what?
But now he can control it.
It's the Happy Gilmore thing of Happy learned how to putt. Like, it's that where it's just like, oh, now I'm more dangerous.
I only
And
have
that's what I would rather see is that's how he now wrestles in that gear that we saw with the mask and everything, and that's how he wrestles. But that's not who he is. That's just who he is when he competes, and then he slowly starts losing it.
The lines blur
and loses control of it, and then so he's still, like he can wrestle as a face like that. He can be a super terrifying face. Like I think that would
so
be.
he's like wrestling.
That's a more interesting. I think that's a more interesting dynamic of him being like.
He's still smiling and being happy, but in the mask and the gear, and people are just like,
No, for like
whoa.
no, like for promos and stuff. He's Firefly Funhouse Bray, but he wrestles as that secret, as the darkness, because like he controls the darkness and competes that way. But then, like I said, but we slowly see, because we don't see, the mask doesn't talk, like he doesn't do promos like that at first, until eventually it's harder and harder for him to come back. And so you can see the Firefly Funhouse start to slowly like decay.
Okay,
And just
I
like
get what
it
you're
starts
saying.
getting more run down.
Well, do you think they'll still do the Firefly Fun
They
House
better.
I hope so.
once he starts wrestling?
I don't
Yes.
know.
That's a lot of time to devote to him per
I
week.
don't know if they will do them every week. But I feel like they'll keep it around sporadically.
And will they bring the puppets out with him?
I hope not. That's one thing I'm fine with them leaving with the Funhouse. Just give it to the unless they're doing like backstage stuff and Mercy pops up or something. But this Firefly Funhouse was amazing. It was super creepy whenever the music changed and he starts doing like the twinkle twinkle. Abigail even changed. Like it was so cool.
Her name's not Abigail, is it?
That's Abby.
Abby the
Abby.
witch.
So
It's super important to note that I think it is Abby the Witch.
No, it is Abby the witch.
Yeah.
That's why I said it.
that's the only thing that I hated about it was the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star thing. Because I swear to God, if this is the new, he's got the whole world. If he just starts doing Twinkle Twinkle
No,
Little
it's
Star
Yowie
instead,
Wowie. He's got Yowie Wowie.
I prefer Yowie Wowie to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Leave the goddamn kids rhymes.
No, I love that. That was like
You love it now until it's every match, every show.
I will happily go
demonic
back.
voice, holographic children, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
It bothered you more than anybody else at the
I
table.
No,
love
Allie
it.
was bothered too.
She wasn't watching wrestling.
Allie, were you bothered?
You weren't watching wrestling.
Allie, say you were bothered.
I was bothered.
Mother.
So, I disagree with Ace. I wish they would have waited,
Oh, okay.
because I do think that they could do the Mr. Rogers as a wrestler, and you could just watch him fall apart in the ring. Whenever he's in the Funhouse, he has a lot better time controlling it, but as he's competing, it's harder.
You
And they
just-
have
This is very much based on PTSD.
And they have the hurt and heal glove that, he listened to the hurt one
Yeah,
and had the
well,
chainsaw. There's definitely ways you can do it. Just like
Did you read all of the stuff that apparently most of the things he does in the Funhouse stuff is based on treatment for PTSD?
there's
I'm being completely
That's
legit.
interesting.
Like the gloves, the puppets, like everything is based on actual PTSD treatment that he's kind of made a little creepier. But it very much, if they're really going for that, it's almost like he has PTSD from being Bray Wyatt, and he's trying to cope with it.
If you go through his Twitter before this started, it very much, he talks about like there was a while he was like logging a journal of being in a hospital where he was essentially kind of being like treated, but it was more like tortured.
That goddamn Dr. Acula.
But then it kind of got dropped in certain spots. So I mean, like it's awesome. And someone on Reddit made a really good point of like, so the next time that you think that someone has been booked like beyond repair, remember Bray Wyatt.
Well,
Now,
there you go.
like now, because it's all gonna, if he starts just doing the whole like, oh, he's super scary but loses every match, then
All of his tweets have been deleted prior to
Yowie
the
Wowie.
Funhouse.
like
You can
April. That was the April 23rd.
places
the
have
most
like there's places that have him archived. Yeah.
I know,
So
but I just go
you're
to Twitter.
saying that if he loses to this new Mojo Rawley in a month,
Jesus Christ.
I
Or
was
how
hoping
about-
we didn't mention that.
how about Ricochet losing to Baron Corbin?
It's fine. He's already lost a match.
Ricochet did?
Yeah.
1-on-1?
Robert Roode.
Didn't know that. Oh, I think I did know that.
Because
yeah.
Robert Roode beat him like 2 weeks ago and then challenged him last week for a spot in Money in the Bank, and then Ricochet got his win back.
Do you think this is a mistake, though? Should we be having Ricochet lose to people online? And this isn't even a shot at Baron Corbin.
It's everybody. This is
Wins and
WWE's
losses don't
booking.
matter.
It doesn't. Wins and
That's
losses don't matter.
so
Everyone's on the
frustrating.
same. Everyone's on the same level, and
I mean that's cool.
And now-
to put everybody on the same level, except the Revival and Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
Ricochet is just now a guy on
Yep.
the WWE roster, which is a bummer.
Hey,
because
Asuka.
like it's
You Kabuki Warrior.
you could have been something special, but right now they're treating him as a guy.
Not the guy.
Yeah, no.
A guy.
We also got Sami Zayn replacing Braun Strowman in the Money in the
Apparently
Bank match.
may have a nagging injury of some sort, is what I was reading, that he's been dealing with something. They're trying to
I think
keep
Braun's been hurt for a while.
Strowman or Zayn?
Strowman.
Okay.
Because I heard Strowman either has some kind of injury that they're trying to deal with, or that they're like mini punishing him for like.
I
don't know.
I saw
I
a
don't know, man.
Yeah, and that's one of those things of like that speculation that we don't really get into, because I saw a
Right.
headline where it was like something happened backstage that's going to keep him from another push or something weird like that. But I actually like Zayn in the Money in the Bank match more than Strowman.
100%.
You have another guy that'll do a crazy spot.
Not even that, just like
It makes
I
more
hate
sense.
super heavyweights in ladder matches.
Well,
I've
I
always
hate Braun
said that.
Strowman in them because Strowman's going to be so dominant. It kind of takes some of the fun out of it.
You have to put 10 ladders on him. Like you get to that ridiculous.
Yeah.
You could have just went for the belt spot.
I don't remember anything else that happened from Raw. I didn't watch any of it. Other than because it was literally we were on YouTube and I was like, oh, I wonder if the new Funhouse Firefly show.
the only other thing
I was passively watching it, but I wasn't like.
the only other thing that I made note of is Nikki Cross got kind of a character change where she was backstage like talking to Alexa Bliss like a normal person, and then she replaced her in a Fatal 4-Way match. But when she wrestled, she was like crazy Nikki Cross.
Right.
But before, so that could be an interesting thing because they clearly weren't going to do anything with her as just like the crazy woman from Sanity.
why
And when
did
she
it-
was split from Sanity, it like didn't make a lot of sense.
Made less sense. Yeah.
Why is Alexa Bliss out of that match?
Just she didn't want to wrestle before Money in the Bank.
Okay, so there wasn't any like we're still worried about her or anything.
No,
like that.
well, it was.
I mean,
no,
like legitimately.
No,
why?
it was. The story reason was her. She claimed that her luggage was lost, that had all of her gear in it. And so she couldn't wrestle. Like last week, her shoes betrayed her, and now she's lost her gear. There's a conspiracy going on against me. And then Nikki Cross offered to take her place.
Do you remember Eva Marie?
Oh yeah, where she was
Like legitimately, every time she would come out to wrestle, but something would happen and she couldn't. I thought that was really funny. Like that was legitimately cool. And then Eva Marie, SmackDown was also a show that aired.
We got more build for the Kofi KO match, the KO show. Sami Zayn came out to help assist Kevin Owens, which I thought was kind of a neat little twist.
Back to that old horse and buggy show.
Both Raw and SmackDown started with Roman Reigns because with this superstar shakeup,
with
the wild card
thing.
Roman Reigns has now been the wild card on both weeks.
By the way, there was I think 5 people on Raw, maybe 6, and then there were at least 5 to 6 people on SmackDown from Raw.
because it was 4 because it was 1, 2, and then a tag team.
Yeah.
Well, and then also Shane said that even though Miz was invited, he wasn't part of the wild card. something. Yeah, it was bullshit. It's already bullshit.
God.
But here's the thing of like,
Horse's
okay,
ass.
so you've got this. You have a great positive out of a terrible negative. Roman Reigns has to go away for a while because he has to fight leukemia. Beats leukemia. That's great. And now you have a chance to kind of start over with him again.
Yeah, this is the big reboot.
He's got all this goodwill back because everyone's happy that he survived and that he was successful in his battle against cancer. And now you can kind of like restart and not do things the way that you did them before. And instead, they have him be on literally every show, opening the show, still just doing the old Roman stuff. And it's like, I wonder how long it is until the crowd turns on him again.
My biggest question about this is with him going to both shows, which one is legally his yard?
It's both.
Does he own both?
Same ring.
Yeah, he just rents it out to Raw.
Yeah. He subleases in SmackDown,
Oh,
so it's
man.
his yard adjacent.
Oh man, we also got the name Kabuki Warriors for Asuka and Kairi Sane,
We
which
sure did.
apparently they picked.
Yeah, that's what Paige
That's what Paige
says.
said. And then Asuka gave a history of Kabuki and why they chose
Which,
the name.
with her description, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like, I can even give you kind of a pass to Kairi Sane because she dresses eccentrically.
The pirate
like, yeah, it's
stuff,
the pirate
yeah.
thing. I still just don't like the name. I just don't think
either.
it's a good name.
It's too basic. Like it has no to me. Like, but I'm a terrible judge at this. Like it lacks something. It's like the Viking experience. It lacks something.
You know who has the best tag team name?
Who?
Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Just their names, because at this point, naming the tag teams are getting really bad.
I didn't even like the name The Revival. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, I'm cool with the Revival.
I didn't like
What
the mechanics either.
Well, it was Revival was substantially better, and but when the way they played it up in NXT was fine, because I mean they're the Brainbusters 2.0 basically.
Yeah. Now that's a good tag team name, Brainbusters.
Oh, okay. If they said 2.0, it's like no, it's a bad idea. We've literally learned in wrestling, anytime you put new or 2000 at the end of a tag team, it's horrible.
New Rockers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Leaf Cassidy was awesome.
Happy Leif Erikson Day.
Viking experience. No, it's just it's a dumb name. Like they need to stop trying. Just like either go super simple or just say Asuka and Kairi Sane. That's the tag team name. That's them.
So if let's say this was in Japan, and Kairi and Asuka was teaming over there, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, let's say they work for them, and they called them the Kabuki Warriors, would there be as much of an outrage?
No, I think a lot of people, and like ourselves included, like kind of jumped to the whole Vince's racist card.
Yeah.
Just because
Kabuki is very
Because that episode of Raw.
well,
it's a good card.
There is a precedent set there that
Yeah.
it's easy to think that. So like I'm happy that if that turns out to not be true, like sweet.
yeah.
Like I'm
Although
fine
they,
with,
they did want to be called Kabuki Girls originally.
yeah, which would have been significantly worse. But I just don't like the name. Even yesterday when I put it in the group chat of like this is worse than the Viking experience. It's not because like I didn't. At least personally, I didn't go because it's like, oh, this is just racist. It's just because like that's just dumb. Like,
Right.
I don't know. And maybe it's a thing that like I just don't like it.
Because there have been dumber tag team names for sure.
Team Road Scholars.
The New Rockers.
I'll think of some later. There's been some bad ones in Japan wrestling. Mm-hmm. Like, because Japanese culture, especially with like stuff like that, can get embarrassing. Sailor Moon is one of my favorite things. One of the songs from one of the Sailor Moon musicals is literally called "Summertime" or "Boys Are Vitamin Boys in Fruit Salad Summertime" or something like that. It just doesn't translate well into English.
I was gonna say, but is that because they picked a bad name or just it just didn't translate?
It's a culture thing. It's a culture thing. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I
because
think
the
there's a
Vitamin Boys are big in Japan.
Because maybe Kabuki Warriors over there is like, holy shit, that's a cool name. And over here we're like,
Yeah, but
I would have called them the Sky Pirates.
Well, that would have been Io Shirai.
Pirates of Tomorrow.
That would have been a more acceptable.
Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
See, and like,
Can we wrap this?
and
now,
honestly, like
you
I don't
a-holes?
even think Pirates of Tomorrow like that doesn't flow well. That's too long. It's kind of clunky. Like. I don't think that works either. But
Future-proof.
it's one of those things. As much as I love when one of my pet peeves in wrestling is when tag teams don't act like a tag team.
Right, when they're
they
just two
come out-
individuals.
when it's just two individuals,
Yeah.
they come out separately. They don't have matching gear. Like
Right.
that's just the thing that's just a personal pet peeve of mine.
I'm with you.
And I would rather them just be Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Right.
Like if it's not, but again, it's just I don't like the name. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a terrible name. I guess.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not as bad as it could have been.
Right.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
mean,
one
like
of
the Viking experience is the gold standard of horrible names
At the moment.
right now.
Yeah.
Which now they're the Viking Raiders, so it's that immediately got changed.
It's better, but I don't know what was wrong with War Raiders.
but they'll never. Apparently, they don't want war. Was the thing.
Which are they still chanting war whenever they come to the ring?
Yes.
Well, then
you sure they're not chanting Vike? Vike.
Because there's been a bunch of reasons. Like one of the rumors is that advertisers didn't want to like associate with war. Type deal.
That's not entirely unheard of.
But there's another story that says Vince just didn't like the name.
Sponsors are a big thing. Like in Japan and in Europe and other countries, like Castlevania. There was a game for Genesis called Castlevania Bloodlines. But in some countries, they don't like the word blood, so they changed it to the New Generation. Ninja Turtles. They couldn't call them Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in some countries because ninja was a word that wasn't allowed. So they changed the name to Hero Turtles. I'm not making that up.
That sounds like a bootleg toy.
It's entirely possible that sponsors said, "Oh, the word war makes us nervous." Yeah. We got Money in the Bank coming up on Sunday, and I've got the card here. Unless you also have the card.
Yeah, I have the card.
Okay, let's go over the matches. We don't have to get in depth about them, but we'll just go over them.
Daniel Bryan and Rowan, the Planet Warriors, champions of the
Did
planet.
you make that up, or is that their nickname?
I read it somewhere, I think.
And Daniel Bryan is Captain Planet.
Daniel Bryan and Rowan are tagging against the Usos. That is not a championship match because they are not on the same show. But I guess could the Usos win the SmackDown titles and just be the wild card forever? Who knows? Who cares? Tony Nese defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Arya Daivari. Very much looking forward to that match.
That'll be
so
fun.
we're going to have to watch the pre-show.
Really gonna hate when he loses one of those names.
Which one?
Tony Nese?
Daivari. No,
Oh.
Tony Nese has to keep him.
I feel like they're going to
I
have
can't imagine Tony
No, it'll be Nese.
or Nice.
I feel like Arya Daivari's safe because they already had Daivari.
That's true.
And I mean, they could, I guess, just go to Arya, but hard pass. Samoa Joe defending the United States Championship against Rey Mysterio.
That'd be a good match. Unless Joe just kills him.
He's either going to kill Dominic or Dominic's going to turn on his dad.
Neither of those.
One of those two.
Neither of those.
Kofi Kingston defending the WWE Championship. Oh, that's just such a great thing to say. Against Kevin Owens.
There's part of me that goes, there's no way in hell Kevin Owens is going to beat him for the title, but there's also part of me that thinks like, but what if he does?
This is why I like Money in the Bank, because even though there's the rumor that they want to build up whoever wins the Money in the Bank briefcase to like build they want to make an edge. Like they want to establish someone as a true main event player here. Like depending on where this falls on the card, would be kind of interesting to see like Owens lose, get frustrated, obliterate Kofi, and then
New
Money
person.
in the Bank winner Sami Zayn
Or Baron Corbin.
or Baron Corbin.
Oh, God.
The Miz against Shane McMahon in a steel cage match.
This will be entertaining, but do not want.
It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those train wreck
It's a Shane
matches.
McMahon match.
Yeah. Roman Reigns versus Elias.
Bye, Elias.
Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the WWE Universal Championship.
Why am I not excited for this match?
The build's been weird.
Ah,
Like AJ hasn't gone like full heel, but they've just been doing this like two good guys just don't get along, and now there's been miscommunication, and yeah, I don't know. Becky Lynch has two matches. One for the SmackDown Championship against Charlotte Flair, the other for the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans.
my prediction on this is she wins both those matches, but the Money in the Bank for the women's does cash in during one of the matches.
Same.
Yeah.
And then,
I hate when they do that.
Because I mean, she's going to be beat. She's going to have a hard time with Flair. She's going to beat Lacey Evans, probably not super easy, but it's not going to be terrible. And then after the Charlotte Flair match, whoever wins that's going to come out and beat her for that title.
After whoever the second, because she'll win her first defense,
Right.
And then she'll barely win her second defense,
Right.
And then the Money in the Bank winner will come out and cash in after that.
That's my prediction.
That's
as well.
that's also what I think is going to happen. And then the two Money in the Bank matches, the women's championship is Natalya versus Dana Brooke versus Naomi versus Alexa Bliss versus Bayley versus Mandy Rose versus Ember Moon versus Carmella.
I do want to give a prediction for this one because I think they're just going to go with the easy choice of Alexa Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they don't. I would like to see Naomi get it. I would like to see Dana Brooke get it. I think Dana Brooke deserves a shot, or Mandy Rose, or Ember Moon.
There's literally
one
like
of those four.
the only one. Carmella's really the only one that I
Don't want to see win.
like, and not even that I don't like. It's not like I'd be upset if she won by
Just
any stretch.
least interested.
To me, she's the least interesting.
Well, and
one.
Natalya, both of them.
I like even Natalya. I feel like could do something interesting with the briefcase, but we already got like the Mella's money. Like we've seen her win the briefcase before. Same
Yeah.
thing with Alexa Bliss actually. And as much as Alexa Bliss is like one of my favorite women's wrestlers that WWE has right now, I wouldn't be thrilled if she won, but I feel like she is the easy choice.
Yeah. Especially if they're going to pull the trigger on taking one of the belts off.
Becky.
Yeah.
And then the men's Money in the Bank ladder match is Sami Zayn versus Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin versus Ali versus Finn Balor versus Andrade versus Randy Orton.
Andrade.
Big match. Big match.
Andrade
Drew
and
McIntyre.
McIntyre are my two that
Yep.
I really think are going to win it. Just
Alethea?
because.
I don't watch.
Why am I on this show? I don't watch wrestling.
So
You told me this was a cooking class.
I have like no idea where any of them are in whatever stories they
All right,
have.
based on abs, who would you pick?
Who's on the list again?
Finn
Here's the
Balor.
list.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, Balor's the only-
Okay, if Balor's on it, then
Good-
yeah,
good
if it's
choice.
based off of abs.
choice.
So, quick breakdown. Balor is the Intercontinental Champion. Sami Zayn is back and hates the fans. Ricochet got split from Aleister Black. Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin had a alliance with
They had an
Lashley
alliance,
that
yeah.
kind of fell through, but not, I don't know. And then Ali, Andrade, and Randy Orton are on SmackDown. That's pretty much like they don't have individual stories going right now.
I really think that Drew McIntyre is going to take it, but I think there's a good chance Randy Orton might take it.
God, keep it off of Orton.
I think it's either like McIntyre, Andrade, and Ali are the three that I. And the only reason I'm not saying Balor is because he's the IC champion and he's been there before. And it could be Ricochet. Like Ricochet's the one who pulled the briefcase down after at SmackDown because they had the 4-way match with all the 4 SmackDown stars, and then someone tried to climb the ladder to grab something, and Ricochet like jumped up, like springboarded onto the ladder, knocked them off, and took it down himself.
It's going to be a hell of a match.
Oh yeah,
both those matches are.
Yeah,
and in fact, it sounds like a good show.
it's the same thing we always say. It's just like the matches sound like they'll be really good. It's just the build to it has been storytelling has been lackluster.
And then lastly, but not leastly, we've got CCW May Mayhem. CCW is in a much better position than WCW at this point. CCW May Mayhem this weekend. Whoa, such a card. Fuck, what is wrong with me? Let's go over the card. It's this Saturday, bell time 7 p.m., doors open at 6 p.m. It sounds like it's going to be a good show. In action, but we have the matches confirmed. Dirty Jake Durden, former CCW champion, will be issuing an open challenge to any unlucky bastard that gets in the ring with him because that boy's scary. And is it you?
Fuck no.
Okay.
No, and that's not like kayfabe. We're in storytelling mode. Like fuck no.
Hey Asa, your first match, Jake Durden.
Yeah, okay. Guess what? I can lay down.
I retire.
You pull a Gail Kim, you just lay down and pull him on top of you and hold him.
I'm okay. I am okay with ending my career 0-1.
You don't want to be like
Hey,
Kevin?
that's where I'm at, brother. Where you at?
It's like,
We also have Hollis Giroux versus Farmer Billy Hills in the first ever blindfold match
in CCW.
in CCW. No, first ever.
No,
Never been done before.
Yeah.
So a little history on this. This is a no kayfabe show, right? If you sit,
well, yeah, because if this was a kayfabe show, or if this was a story show, then this is going to be awkward.
no, we're friends
Allie.
now. We're friends now. If you still believe, turn off the show. So Billy messages me on Saturday. He's like, "Hey, let's do this." Like, do what? He's like, "You're gonna fireball me in the fucking face," and I was like, "Oh, please no." I legitimately said no. I don't want to do that. I tried to talk him out of it. He wouldn't let me. I tried to let anyone else do it. He didn't want anybody else. So me and Lindsay met him over at Fandom Corner. Me with Allie's hairspray. Billy pulls out a lighter. and
That's
he's-
why it was moved.
Yeah. And we tried it. By the way, it looked pretty good on that one take we did. We tried it 10 times. We could never get the lighter to light when we wanted it to. So we tried it over and over again. There were times that like I would get it and turn it on and Billy would sell it, but nothing happened. There was times I literally sprayed hairspray in his face because I couldn't get it.
Which could legitimately blind him. Like, that could have been worse than the fireball.
Fucking love Billy.
So we finally got to work, and the last time we got it to work, I legit got right in his face and fucking flame on. Right, I singed off his eyebrows, and it was incredible, and I never want to do it again, and I blame Billy Hills. So Billy versus Hollis in the first ever blindfold match. That should be exciting. We got the bite-sized brawler, Logan Stunt, little brother to Marco Stunt, continuing the family tradition of being good, going up against the best of the best, Austin Lane, who I assume will have a new theme song.
I gotta change mine soon.
Shut the fuck up. We've got Justin the Juice Smart with Mr. 100 going up against the Nephilim, Damone Salavino. I don't know why they put my name on one of the matches and not the other 20 I'm in. I guess that gets old seeing it because it gets old being there. No, that's not true. I'm just so scared they're going to get sick of me. That's all. I'm scared they're going to get sick of me. That should be a really good match, though. I'm really proud of Damone for now getting this face turn and doing something cool. This is the first story Damone's had in CCW. In the 2 years he's been there now? 2.5 years?
Yeah.
This is the first story he's had. This is the first time he's been face, and this is the first time he has not been in a group.
To be fair, he has had one other story that he made himself, which was, I want to wrestle KLD.
I picked him up.
I've seen him wrestle face. He's really, like, I enjoy him as a face.
I think he'll work as a face really well because he's...
Oh, no, he does.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
He's a great wrestler. He's got a great personality, and I'm so excited to be able to help him. That's weird saying that. To help him like do something new. That's very cool. Plus, he's super nice. He's weird, but he's super nice. And of course, Justin the Juice Smart, one of our good friends who's become an actual friend of ours here on the show. He's incredibly talented and deserves so much. Next up, we've got this guy, Dalton Anthony, and Heath Hatton. We know from Stride, Professional Wrestling, now making a CCW debut, going up against Casey's Finest.
I'm excited about that a lot. Like, it's been a long time coming for Heath to come.
Have you ever teamed with Heath?
No, I've wrestled Heath once.
Wrestled him once?
In a tag match at a school assembly. That's the only, like, I mean, aside from, like, he's taught me a whole lot. Like, that's where I went to fast track my wrestling.
Yeah, because this is one of your mentors, right?
Yeah, like, it's Barbed Wire brought me in, and he, like, showed me the ropes, and then I went to Tyler to learn more, like, to, like,
Because they run, like, their school runs weekly instead of just meeting once a month.
So, like, like the people like Dan Garrett and Tyler, like, those three, like, fast tracked me to where, like, I was learning really quickly, and then I would go back to Cape and Brandon would polish me, and then, like, I would go to Tyler and he would polish. Like, it was a very, like, cycle, and it's really cool to get to work a tag match with him.
I messaged Heath the day I found out, and I made the poster, and I was like, I never thought I'd be putting you on a CCW poster. It's very cool. Congratulations. And me and him talked about it.
He's excited about it.
He seemed very excited to work with you.
Yeah, and
so that was
like,
cool.
We talked about the tag match a lot, and I think he is excited to come in, and I know that CCW is excited to have him, so it should be fun.
Yeah, he's a killer talent.
Yeah, and I love Leo D and A Clay, like, and I've always wanted to work with him. It's gonna be weird.
And Leo D is killing it right now.
Yeah, in a
killing it.
fur vest, whatever.
What's with the fur vest?
That's what he killed.
Keeps it forever.
That's my favorite thing is me and Kyle being really like big dicks to each other online.
I'm pretty sure that's the remnants of Purple Phoenix. Just turned him into a vest.
I get happy whenever he posts on Facebook.
See my vest.
I do too.
I do too. I really miss him. Speaking of,
I also miss Casey's Finest because, like,
they haven't been in a while.
It's been a couple shows since they've been here. So
January.
Remember when Leo D first came in and we called him like Papa John's?
Because he had the colors.
All we knew of him was the color scheme. Yeah, and now we love him so much. We got a CCW tag team match. Another Stride alumni who also wrestles in CCW very frequently and is incredible. Joey O'Reilly teaming up with Brandon Barbed Wire. They're the new CCW tag team champions. Brandon made his return at the last show. So good to see him back. Brandon is, like, I know we always say Austin Lane is what built CCW. You know, that's his claim, and Austin is definitely a huge part of it. But I really do think that Brandon is the foundation that CCW was built on. If there was no Brandon, I don't think there would be a CCW.
And it's also super important to note that Brandon is a big reason that you're getting new people. And, like, Brandon is the reason that Dalton Anthony is at CCW. He's the reason that Trent Daniels is at CCW.
he's to blame.
And then, yeah, and he's also the one that, like, there's a reason Slammer is in CCW.
I still blame Hogan for that one.
Slammer, that's fair, yeah. There's Macho Man in there, I guess. But, like, no, like, Brandon is one of the most important people to CCW. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh,
and nice.
But,
like Brandon is the nicest guy I've ever met.
He had no reason to be as nice to me the year and change I've been training. He could have been the biggest dick to me and probably needs to from time to time. But, like,
gives advice. He'll listen to you when you have problems. He'll work through it with you. When I got discouraged last year and I was very close to leaving CCW permanently, Brandon and Jason both came in, and Brandon talked to me for an hour to convince me of why I shouldn't go, which they did not have to do. There was no reason. Fuck me. Like, they can replace me. Anybody's replaceable. They didn't have to do that. So that Brandon cares so much, and Jason to a much, much lesser extent.
God damn.
Very, very sweet of them both. And they're going up against Brandon S.B. Espinoza and Dexter Roswell. Dexter, who I think
I love this teaming.
I do too.
Like,
I love them as a group.
I love seeing Dexter kind of step out of his comfort zone.
The politician era.
Yeah, like this. I think he called it Evil Dexter.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him post about it because he wrestled somewhere else recently.
At
He went with Ace.
Yep, Kansas City.
Oh yeah, it was because it was when Ace and Hollis wrestled.
Yeah.
I think it was that show. But like I really dig the Evil Dexter character because it's turned more into its own thing.
Yeah.
Like because
it's
everywhere we go, Dexter's a heel.
Yeah.
But these are clearly two very different styles of heel, and he works different, and it's super cool. And
it's neat to see.
yeah, it really really is.
Roswell, Area 51, aliens.
As much as I love I love everybody on the roster, like I truly do. But like SB is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think he's teaching Dexter a lot, like in the time that they're together, because it's one of those things where it's like you never want to have like too many like cooks in the kitchen type deal, but it's like working with SB I think is teaching him a lot that
It's a master chef.
that he may not necessarily be getting like working with Stride. Just because it's separate, just because it's so separate. Like I'm not trying to like I hope no one from Stride takes that.
Well,
as a
here's
slight.
the thing. Like here's the thing with Garrett, and not a lot of people know this. Garrett wrestles like 8 to 10 times a month.
Yeah.
Like he wrestles that often. Like he has 3 shows this week. He's already wrestled one, and then we're wrestling on Friday, and then he's wrestling on Saturday. So like, whenever I say I think he is one of the most underrated talents in any locker room he's in, I'm not saying that because that's my tag partner. I'm saying that because I truly believe it.
No, yeah.
That's not your tag partner. Heath Hatton's your tag partner.
Shut up.
But no, like SB's amazing. I love getting to watch him.
He is the nicest, most unapproachable person in the locker room.
He's so scary.
He is. But then he's so funny and like personable when you talk to him.
Yeah. And then same thing
Screaming
with
guy.
like Joey and Brandon too. Like I'm so happy Brandon's back.
Yeah.
Because like CCW felt like it was missing something. Like even though he was there every month, like backstage, and we got to see him, like him not being able to perform,
It was killing him.
Yeah.
He wanted to get
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
absolutely.
It did me a lot of favors whenever he was the one making the save for me a couple times.
And then Joey O'Reilly too. Like he's one of like from when we just were going to Stride just because like we wanted to go see Billy. Like
Yeah.
Joey O'Reilly has always been a guy that we wanted to get to CCW.
I'll never forget when we went to go see Ricky Steamboat that night. That the Steamboat was in Stride, and I ran into Joey O'Reilly in the bathroom, and it was the most. And I didn't know
Oh yeah,
him.
because you were so weird.
It was so awkward. I hated it. And now when he sees me, he straightens my clothes. He taps me on the, he's super nice. But that was so awkward.
Yeah.
And then the main event, we've got Jackson Crowley, new CCW champion. Congratulations to him because he absolutely deserves it. I know the joke is that he lost the title after 1 month last time. Circumstances, but.
Yeah.
He is absolutely deserving of it. He's definitely the most over person in CCW, and God bless him. Incredible talent. Going up against All Ego Ethan Page, who I did not know a lot about until recently, started looking up more about him. And not only does he seem like a really cool dude, also a great wrestler. So I'm very excited for this match. I'm very excited to meet Ethan Page.
I've had my eye on. That sounds so douchey.
You did.
But I've been watching Ethan Page for a while now.
I think it's been
I
like
had
a
my
year.
eye on you, kid.
Yeah, it's just like I think you
Pull the
got
cigar
something
out.
special. But it's one of those things where it's like I've seen him I've seen matches he's had at Glory Pro and especially like places like Chicago and on the independent scene, because I remember the first time he showed up at Impact, I was like, oh, that's super cool. And then now that he's like a main part of Impact, like he's joined the roster, he's in that tag team, the North,
Going up
and-
against RVD.
yeah, and he's the one that's wrestling RVD. It's super cool.
Did you see the way he used that chair?
So gross.
Oh.
Disgusting. I didn't. RVD had no idea you could use a chair.
I didn't
like
know you could do that.
Because he's funny. I think he's super talented, and he's another name that I've been hoping that we could get, especially whenever we see him working at Glory Pro and places like, oh, he's so close.
Yeah.
He's so close. We
Just
could
chain him up.
Just bring him in. Just bring him in.
Scorpion style. Get over here.
Because part of me I love Jackson so much, and after that match that he had to win the championship, hold it forever, cool. But there's kind of a small part of me be like, I mean, it'd be kind of neat if Ethan Page did win it, because that means he'd have to come back.
Just whatever happens, Jackson, I hope you don't bleed.
Please.
We're tired of seeing your blood.
Speaking of bleeding, I logged into Instagram really quick and saw Joey Janela take a skateboard covered in thumbtacks. And whenever I say a skateboard, I don't mean somebody swung a skateboard on him. I mean a dude jumped off the top rope with skateboard in hand, got his feet on it, and coup de grace him.
So does someone need to check on Joey Janela? Like,
there needs to be a safety check.
is he doing okay?
Well, not right now. You want to see?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
I mean, it looks like a thumbtack spot, but like, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, at least I thought he was going to be on the ground, and the dude crushed him. And on that note,
better,
that note,
but still no.
CCW May Mayhem this Saturday.
There will not be a skateboard covered in thumbtacks.
Don't.
Logan's nuts. I don't.
I would do it.
Who knows?
I would do it. If Logan wants to do it to me, I'll do it. There, I'm saying it.
Yeah, but
I'll
that's
take.
a terrible idea.
I wrestle in a t-shirt though, so there's some coverage.
Anything that will get me any amount of respect, I will do. If I have to bloody myself,
Learn how to do a headlock. That gets a lot of respect.
well, is it basic enough for me?
Yup.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. We're back tomorrow with the Thursday show, After Dark. Probably have some controversial comments to make on that show.
Later.
Yeah. Well, no, we got to do the plugs. Asa, plug us.
Facebook.com/Podzilla1985, Twitter.com/Podzilla1985. Give us a like, give us a follow. Podzilla1985.com. You can go back listen to any of the older episodes. We had a really good show last night. Talking about
the Pro Jared
thing, and like it started as kind of a jokey show, and Saints Row, and then like as it went, just the seriousness really went up. I got a little heated.
It got ramped.
Because there's some things that I care very deeply about.
And Pro Jared was one of them.
He led to the things that we were talking about. And then, of course, patreon.com/Podzilla1985. Starting at just $1, you can get our pre-shows that we record before every episode.
We had a fun one today.
Today was a very fun one.
Today was a lot of fun. I want to thank our listeners. I don't know if any of you have come over from the animal podcast that we did at Cape Comic Con. We have seen a surge in our listener base, which is great because we've got a great amount of listeners that really appreciate it all over the world, and we love you guys so much. But we actually saw our numbers increase pretty significantly in the past couple of weeks ever since Comic Con. So if you're one of the people that came over from Animal, or you were there for Veronica Taylor and thought, well, this animal guy's pretty cool. What is this wrestling thing about? Welcome to the show. We're glad to have you. And if you've never done it before, send us a message on Facebook. Send us a message through email. Literally anything at Podzilla1985.com. We would love to interact with you. Ask Ciro. Ask Derek Boxdorfer. Ask Zane Laney. We're pretty cool guys. We're chill. And on that note, we'll see you tomorrow. Later.